If you're a single woman over 40 looking for Mr. Right and you're ready to learn the most underrated skill to save time and heartache, you're in the right place. In this episode, as an intuitive love coach, I'm sharing how to avoid dating burnout part 2. Perfect for you if you're even opening a dating app and it sends you into a stomach clenching agony. You don't want to miss this. Welcome to episode 6, everyone. Today we're talking about 3 ways to use intuition to avoid dating burnout, and this is part 2. After you listen to this, you can go back and get part 1. Today we're learning about your yes. This is all about tuning into the body and learning about your secret language, so to speak, your intuitive voice, in order to make it easier to date and to avoid what I call dating burnout. And I talk all about what is dating burnout and the ins and outs of it in part 1. So you can go back and get the overview after this lesson. You might be wondering, why should I listen to you about intuition? Well, I've been doing intuitive work for over 20 years personally and 18 years professionally. I have a deep understanding of my own intuition and how it works, and I've been teaching it to my clients for years. I know what intuition is and what it isn't, and that's what I'm teaching you in this season. You can go back to the first 2 episodes on how to start connecting to your intuition. That's episode 1 and 2. We really dive into all things Intuition 101 if you want to go back and get a refresh. Getting back to learning your yes, what does this feel like in your body? Your body is really the translator of your intuition, and it's your connection to that guidance system, the part of you that knows all the answers. So if you're really having self-doubt, if you're wondering, should I date this person? Should I avoid dating altogether? Is the dating apps, are they even worth it? All of these kind of questions can be answered for you personally, and what is the best thing for you through your intuition and through your body. The body is the gateway to your intuition. I always say, if you're not able to connect with your body, if you're just kind of in your head all the time and you don't have a good working relationship with your body, this is going to be really, really difficult. And that's why I focus so much on tuning into your heart and being in your body, because that's what's going to give you all the answers. Not someone who's going to tell you that this certain way of dating, or you have to say these things, this inauthentic script to attract a man and keep a guy and all of those type of things. Those inauthentic ways of dating are not going to help you. You can listen, of course, to advice, because I do like you to listen to the wisdom that I am dropping in this podcast. But what I'm saying is, you have to always compare it to what your intuitive voice is saying. Does this feel like it resonates with me? Is this something that I need to do, that I want to do, that's going to bring me closer to my heart's desire, which is finding that lasting love that feels like home and being with the love of your life, or the one, if you want to call it that. I personally thought it wasn't possible for me. I struggled with this so much. I would date and be in one toxic relationship after another. I wasn't able to be my authentic self in these relationships. And it was a long, hard journey of being in my true self and learning who I am inside before I was able to actually go out and find someone who was going to feel like home, who was going to match my wavelength, and who I could grow with and be myself with. I'm not saying this is easy, but I want to save you some of that time and heartache that I went through by giving you the fastest path to Mr. Right, the shortcut, so to speak, which is through your intuition, through your heart, and what your heart and your intuition is saying to you. Anyway, I digress, but this is all about being in your body. So that's why I'm going very deeply into what is your no. That was the last episode. And today we're going to talk about what is your yes and learning your yes. And it may feel elementary and it may feel like, oh, this is stupid, but this is really everything. Once you get this, it is everything for you. It'll make things so much easier and will help you to avoid that dating burnout. Let's focus on what it feels like in your body to have a yes. Do you have a symbol that maybe comes up? For example, say you're going on a date and you're like, well, I don't even know if this is the right person for me, or if I should continue this date or if I should just go home and throw in the towel. What is your body feeling like? If, say, it's a yes. For me, I've given this example before. It's when my heart lifts and opens like a flower. I would describe it as a blossoming flower, an opening, the way certain flowers will blossom and open at night, or the way you'll just see it open up when you put it in water in a vase in your house. That's the kind of feeling I have in my heart when it's a yes. And some people talk about a full body yes. So maybe your whole body feels like it's blossoming and opening up, where there's a sense of a lightening and uplifting kind of feeling. That's a real world example that you can see, well, is that how I feel? When I know for sure there's an inner certainty, there's an inner confidence and assuredness that you feel in the body, that is the yes. That's what your body and your spirit is trying to tell you, that this is a yes for us. And when I say yes, what I mean is it's not maybe what you are thinking it is. For example, the yes might be, yes, it is in your highest and best interest to continue this date, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this person is your person or that they're the one. It just means that you're going to get so much benefit. And usually when the universe is involved and when we're talking intuition, it's always a mutual benefit. This person that you're on a date with is going to get so much out of it, and you're going to learn so much, or you're going to grow, or you're going to hear something, they're going to say something to you that's going to be life-changing, or you're going to say, wow, I really know something more about myself because I went on this date. Just keep that in mind when we're talking about a yes. You don't necessarily know what the yes is all about. You're only knowing that you're meant to continue moving forward. You're meant to keep going in this direction. And that's where it gets difficult, because I know, a lot of women listening to this might be type A like me, where you just want to know, okay, what's the answer? What should I be doing? And you want to have it all figured out. But unfortunately, intuition doesn't work like that. It's a very subtle, it's a very deep understanding. It's a new language. It's really leaning into something and surrendering and deepening into a way of life that is not from the head. It's not the mental black and white, and this is a sure thing, and all of the answers laid out in a neat little row. This is about moving to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and being willing and open to go on that journey, knowing that this is the beautiful path that you truly desire on a deep level. You're going to have to let go of a few things in terms of mindset, that the yes might not mean yes for this person. It just means yes to go on the date, or yes to put yourself out there, or yes to continue dating, whatever it is. And you won't really know until it continues to unfold. And that's where it's like you have to kind of surrender to the moment, which can be very difficult if you're a smart cookie, who you probably are a smart cookie if you're listening to this, and you really want to have everything logically laid out, and you've used your intelligence to get you places, which is wonderful. But we're learning a new way. We're adding on a new way of doing things, because the way you've been doing things before, the way you've been dating, has led to what I call that dating burnout. We're going to try something new. We're going to be open to new stuff. Yes is another, it's a quiet mind. That's another way of determining, is this a yes? It might not be in your body. It might be a feeling in your mind of just spaciousness. It's just a quiet, subtle yes. It feels reassured. There's a feeling of certainty, or at least inner confidence. You might feel a little bit excited, or a feeling of possibility, a feeling of choices. These are all intuitive yeses, intuitive types of yeses that can show up. Or your mind starts giving you the what's next thoughts, or what you can do next. It's a directive without fears. So it's just a simple, this is a perfect thing to be doing, to go on this date or to talk to this person. And we're just going to lead you along to the next step. And maybe at the end of the date, The next step, the yes is, well, I think I'm going to continue looking and I'm not going to go on another date. So maybe you're saying yes to yourself and no to the person. It's really about being very, very adaptable and very kind of thinking on your feet and feeling into things and being spontaneous. That's another thing your intuition will teach you is spontaneity. It's being in the moment and allowing for changes, allowing for shifts to happen. Emotionally, a yes might feel like a sense of calm, peacefulness in the body. You might have that joyful, uplifting, playful feeling I was talking about. And you might also tap into a feeling of abundance. You have all of a sudden an abundance of confidence, or you feel an abundance of time. And the opposite of that might be when you're in your head and you're heading to burnout. It's like, oh my God, I'm 40, I'm 45. I don't have time for this. I've got to get on the next date and the next date and the next date. It's a feeling of pushing, a feeling of chasing, a feeling of not having enough time. There's not enough. There's not enough. And feeling that sense of urgency, but it's a panicky urgency. And that would be the opposite. The feeling of the yes and being in the intuitive space of yes is always a feeling of abundance. I have plenty of time to do this. The world is my oyster. I am really enjoying this moment and I can't wait to continue on because I have so much fun doing this and I have so much time in which to do this dating thing. And the actions you can take to lean into this yes is by asking yourself, what is the yes whispering to you to do? And I say do in quotes. Because doing in terms of your intuition might be to rest. It might be, oh, I need to talk to my family today, or make a nice meal, or get a new dress, or a new outfit, or join a class. Following the yes insights is a beautiful action. It's that action combined with the universe, which really meets you halfway and propels you forward. When I was in my intuitive self and very much in tune with everything, and my intentions were strong, and I went on the dating app, I met my husband in 10 days. It can happen very quickly. And of course, I'm not saying this is the timeline. It'll happen in 10 days, boom. But it can happen very quickly once you have everything lined up and you're fully in tune and you're moving with your yeses and you're moving with your nos intuitively, not from the mind. And it's something that you learn because you're learning a new language, like I said. You're learning how to interact with yourself in the deepest way. Give yourself that grace and remember my framework that you want to be aware. And then secondly, you want to be accepting of yourself, accepting of your journey, accepting of your mistakes. Like maybe you try out the intuitive things and you try to learn your yes, and then you go on a date and you're in your head the whole time. And you come home and you start beating yourself up and saying, I can't do this. I can't live intuitively. I can't date intuitively. I don't want you to be doing that. I want you to reframe it and say, well, that was a really good effort. I really made an effort. I put myself out there and I gave it a real try. I gave it a scout's try or whatever. And that's okay. I'm going to try it again when I'm ready. And maybe you go through some reflective exercises, do some journaling, and then say to yourself, okay, I'm ready to try this again. But it doesn't mean anything about you. Don't make it mean something that you're like, you went into your head again and you were letting your mind take you in every direction. That's okay. That's what 99% of people in this world are doing right now. The fact that you're even willing to learn this skill and to put this in practice in terms of love and dating is amazing. It's a wonderful adventure that you are embarking on. Let's talk about how to implement this and put this tool into context of learning your yes. Women have asked me how to avoid becoming obsessed with online dating and not feeling like you have any control over it, like you're just obsessing all the time. Maybe you're going on the app and looking at it every 5 minutes and checking messages and then obsessing about why didn't that guy answer me after 5 minutes? It must mean that I'm a total loser and doing things like that to yourself and feeling like, well, I've got to be on there every day, all day and check my notifications all while I'm at work, all through the day, and getting really obsessed. And it's all coming from that feeling of urgency, of panicking, like, I don't have time. I don't have choice. This is do or die. It's now or never. That's a surefire way of knowing that you're in a dating burnout and that you're in that lack feeling, that you're in your head, that it's taking you all over the place. In order to turn this around, that's why I'm teaching you how to know your yes and how to know what your no is in your body. Then you can stop forcing and chasing and sabotaging yourself. The whole reason we get burnt out is you're going against what you want in a way. You're not following the natural guidance system that is your intuition. Of course, you're going to be going haywire if you go against it. If you try to force and take over and, your mind will say, no, we're going to do this the better way, which is, it's not true. You're not doing it the better way. Your mind is taking you everywhere and draining your energy and often taking you in an opposite direction altogether. Of course, you're going to get obsessed with the dating apps. You'll be checking your messages every 5 minutes or spending hours doom scrolling and searching for someone only to be like, there's nobody on here and this is a total waste of time. If you feel yourself doing that, then lean into your yes and your no. I'm going to give you some examples. Ask yourself, is now a good time to spend on the dating app? Yes or no? Then follow that. Tune in and see what your body is saying. The previous episode was about your no. Now you know what your no feels like in your body. And after this episode, you're going to know what your yes feels like. Ask yourself these questions. Is now a good time? And again, you don't have to know all the ins and outs of the yes and no. You're just asking in the moment. Remember, you're moving towards the next thing in the moment. You don't have to know. This is not a fortune telling type of thing where it's like, am I going to meet my soulmate today if I go on the app? You don't want to ask questions like that. This is just in the moment type of questions. Is now a good time to spend on the dating app? Yes or no? And then listen to it. Listen to your intuition in your body. If it's a yes, go onto the dating apps and choose 1 or 2 profiles you like and then say, is it a good idea to send this person a message? Yes or no? And give that a try. See what the answer is. Is it a good idea to respond to this person? Yes or no? So play this like a game. This is a yes or no game. If you feel yourself getting tense, frustrated, or negative, then log off and take some rest. Take a time out. Try again the next day or in 2 days. Each time, start again with the yes or no question. Is now a good time to spend on the dating app? And go through this like a game and make it fun. If you don't know whether it's a yes or no, so if you're still unsure, practice with other things first that are easier. Here's a really good way to tap into your yes or your no if you haven't quite figured it out yet. You can say, do I live in XYZ city? Do I live in New York City? Wherever you live. And then feel what the yes is and really say, okay, that's my yes. That's what it feels like to get a yes in my body. Then say something that's not true. Say, I'm a cat or I'm a dog. Or you can say something that's totally untrue. And then see what your body does. And that will give you an easier indication of your yes and no if you've been confused, if you're still feeling uncertain and you're like, you've listened to these episodes and you're like, I still don't really understand what my yes and my no is. It's not clear. Then give those little tricks a try because that's a way of tapping into this new language and translating it for yourself. Pay attention to the yes and no sensations until you're more familiar with both of them. And then you can go back and use them on the dating apps or searching for dating events or whatever activity you're doing that involves dating. And that will give you a really good sense of your yes and your no and how to tune into that, how to translate what you are doing with dating, how to lean into your intuition. And remember that this is the perfect way to prevent and avoid dating burnout because you're actually going with your spirit. You're going with what is truly in your heart that you desire for this lifetime, that you want to experience, and the life and love that you want to create and have. This is the way to do it. I hope this has been helpful and you've been able to practice a little bit. And next week, we're going to do part 3. We're going to talk about another way to use intuition to avoid dating burnout. I can't wait to have you join me. And remember, love is closer than you think.